Boom, coming in hot, Jakey. What's going on, brother?
Coming in hot, I am with the father of a big league ball player.
Well, not big league yet, but a pro
Well,
ball player. Yeah,
hey,
man. Dude, I tell you what, it's one of the greatest moments of my life. Going through the process with my son Jake, and then kind of being in the mix with all these different teams, and then you know, selecting what we thought was the best team, for him, for his development, for that organization was the Toronto Blue Jays. And dude, it's just like one of the coolest things to see your son, to see the nerves, to see the whole process of it. This last year, I mean, he had a big senior year. He was healthy all year. He went out and proved himself. Went to the combine, did well, some workouts. But a lot of big time scouts were on him, and it panned out, dude. When you get that call, it was one of the coolest moments for our family, man. We were all here. It was just one of the neatest things ever.
oh my God, me and Jess are crying. I don't know how much crying. Are you done with crying? You probably can't cry anymore than you.
Beyond overwhelmed. We cried, we laughed, we hugged, everything like that. For the last couple days, especially that day, dude. The draft started at day 2 of the draft started at 11:30 that morning, and then he was picked later in the day, like after 5 o'clock. So much back and forth with his agent, with teams,
Ugh.
just trying to figure things out, and you
Ugh.
know, dude. At the end of the day, Chance, there's 20 rounds now. When I was coming up, there was 60 rounds. Mike
Right.
Piazza. Somebody asked me in an article, local paper, well, do you think you had anything to do with him being drafted because, you are who you are? I go, just such a dumb question. And the reason it is because they don't do that anymore, dude. It's 20 rounds. If I
Right.
had anything to do with it, or any big leaguer had anything to do with it, you'd see every big league son in there because everyone's doing favors. Like, they want players, dude. They want guys that can hit, guys that can run. Like, mommy and dad or daddy ain't helping you out. And with 20 rounds, teams don't care. So at the end of the day, you either put up numbers and you got skills or you don't. So, like, and when I hear that question, I'm like, it's such a ridiculous question. Now, go back to when I was getting drafted in that era 30 years ago,
Mhm.
literally, I got drafted in 1995. Mike Piazza is a 62nd round pick, one of the greatest catchers of all time. But the story goes he was a 62nd round pick as a favor for
Right.
Tommy Lasorda because he was Lasorda's godson.
Right.
So I can understand that. In the 62nd round, you're taking Tommy Lasorda's
Yeah.
godson as a favor. Turns out he becomes one of the greatest catchers of all time, if not the greatest catcher of all time. With 20 rounds now and less minor league teams, and the picks are so tight, and you're trying to, give extra money, and there's pool money in the first 10 rounds, and I won't bore you with all that, but there's a whole
Right.
strategy here. It's incredible.
It's incredible.
Nobody's picking somebody's son because they like the dad.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Go look at film of Jake Casey hitting and running and throwing a baseball, and you'll
Yeah.
understand why he's a Toronto Blue Jay. That's part one. I'm going to ask you a question. Well, first, let me tell folks, if you have, I have never paid attention to a draft that much in my life, obviously, and I even work in baseball. Dude, you said it is so fast. I cannot imagine. It was like, I equated it to this. If anybody who's fantasy football players,
There you go.
if you go into an auction draft, because that's what Sean was talking about where the money is and everything like that, and then it's like being unprepared for a fantasy draft, and it's a fast, 30-second minute. That thing was flying. I was at work shaking in my boots. I'm like, it's going so fast. I hope I hear his name. And in a second, I'm going to ask you a question that I don't know if anybody's asked you. You and your dad now have something insanely in common. Like, now you know what was going through your dad's mind. Have you guys talked about being the dads together?
Yeah, we have. Well, it's just so exciting watching my dad, watch Jake get drafted. But now I know what my dad and my mom were feeling back then. You know what I mean? Like, when it's your kid, it's just a different ballgame. When it's you, you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go dominate. I'm getting the box. People are nervous when you're in the box. I'm not nervous. I'm ready to go, ready to hit. So watching my parents and yeah, talking to them about the whole thing. Staying up, my dad watching every single game, staying up on the West Coast games. And the journey of getting drafted. We had a party that night. I remember the party we had. Dad got a keg on the back porch, and here we are. We had that night. Jake's mom went out and bought every Blue Jay hat at Lids up here at the mall. So we came back with 50 Blue Jays hats on the table. So whoever came in, we had a party that night. Whoever came in got a Blue Jay hat. We got a great picture and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But one of the coolest backstories, Chinch, of this whole thing, and I might even said this, but I want to say it again, was,
Do it.
2 years ago when my dad was in the hospital, battling 2 open heart surgeries, a couple strokes, just absolute one of the toughest guys I know. I mean, I remember one night I came to visit him, and he's in the hospital. He's sitting there. You could tell he's grinding. And I think in all our minds, we're like, man, is Dad going to come out of here? I think we were all really scared of that. And this moment was the moment I was like, he's coming out of here. Like, he's not. And he said to me, he goes, you know what? I'm going to get the hell out of here. I want to see Jake drafted. He goes, I'm getting out of here. I'm going to see Jake drafted. Now, that's 2 years ago, dude, when we didn't know nothing about Jake getting drafted.
Right.
He was probably a sophomore in college. That wasn't even on our radar. So yesterday, dude, when Jake got drafted and we're on the porch and I could see my dad stand up and I was in the corner and I could see Jake hug my dad, all I could think about was that conversation I had with him alone in the hospital room when he said, I'm getting out of here and I'm going to live to see Jake get drafted. And dude, it was just a moment where I was like, let's go. Like, don't give Jim Casey a purpose and a meaning. He's coming out of that hospital, and he's going to be hugging his grandson a couple years later when he gets drafted by the Toronto Blue Jays.
I got chills. I got chills.
Yeah. That's awesome, dude. That's a great story, right?
That's a great.
And I know you're watching, Dad. I love you, and I'm so grateful for you and Mom, and I'm so grateful you guys were on the porch, but you're an inspiration, Dad. You really are. You're one of the toughest dudes I know. I'm going through this hamstring thing now. It has been a real struggle and a real grind. And I tell you, I use my dad as inspiration when I think about what he went through for 120 days in the hospital, 2 open heart surgeries, 83 years old, and like some of those moments in the hospital, just having to gut it out. And I think I say, hey, your dad could do it at 83, you could do it at 51.
Dude, unbelievable. You got up pretty quick, man. I saw when you got up, I'm like, oh my God, that hamstring's going to shoot out the window of the Montana room when
Well, dude, I put my hand up like this. Jake high fives. He was like, I can't high five my son right now. I gotta launch up with one hammy and get the hug in. It was mayhem because I'm also, if you look at the video, I'm trying to hand the phone to Sarah to be like, hey, get this moment. And she's like, let's go. I'm like, all right, she doesn't understand what's going on. So I had to go back in for the second hug.
Hey, wait a minute.
Yeah. What was your, Sarah, don't you agree?
I had an iPad and an iPhone set up, so I had 2 cams going.
Dude, you guys
record on his phone too?
Sarah, don't listen to him. You had a setup. Your setup was better than like when Chipper Jones got the call on MLB.com.
I was on 4K. I was doing it all.
Yes, you were.
Because who set that camera up? I said, who do you think? She's like, Sarah. I go, yep.
You got it. It was perfect.
I hear the nonsense.
All right, you're
silly
good. I love you. You did a great job.
Good job.
You're the only reason we had that.
And I'm your nurse.
And you're my nurse. And I'm like, the hammy.
Don't mess with the nurse.
Get the ice.
No way.
Yeah, no, she is my
I've been grinding harder than anybody over the last 3 weeks. This is great. I'm so happy for you guys. All right. Well, obviously, this must have been like one of the most fun all-star breaks to watch baseball in a Casey house.
Big time.
Dude, unbelievable. And hey, guess what? It was fun. This was a fun weekend. Not every home run derby is that great. This was a really good one. Not every all-star game is great. And this was an all-timer, honestly, in a lot of ways. So,
well, I also want to give a shout out to Rob Manfred, and I love Rob Manfred. Rob, you got to switch the draft back to Omaha June 9th because it's too late for the guys. These kids are 8 weeks off. I know they're trying to make the Major League draft like the NFL draft. I don't think it ever will be. The draft should be at Omaha right around the time College World Series where everybody knows these players, and then they can get drafted and then go off and get some developed for a few months. Because they're only going to play to the end of August. I remember that. I got drafted like June 9th, something like that. Signed. That 60, 50-plus games I played at Watertown, New York set me up so well for the next year. I needed it. So, you don't want to lose development right now. So I just really think all the great stuff they have for that weekend, the celebrity softball game, the Derby, how the Derby's being played, the All-Star game. There's so much going on. The draft needs to be moved back. It doesn't have to be part of the festivities. That's my 2 cents, guys.
There you go. I like it. I like it. But anyway, dude, first of all, let's dig in a little bit to your boy from Pittsburgh. Cruz was hitting bombas, dude. He might be the best BP hitter in baseball. He's got to get a little disciplined at the plate during
Yeah.
the real games, but the guy can hit a baseball as far as any human being that's ever hit a baseball.
No, he could crush a baseball, dude. I mean, the exit velo off his bat's real, 120 plus. I mean, it's pretty impressive. The one thing you watch is BP when he really gets down and through the ball. That's where the backspin's won the gap where you're seeing 500 some feet. But you can see a lot of times though he was top spinning balls, which is when a guy's throwing you BP, you really should be able to backspin most every ball if you're playing every day. So, I think that's one thing, with him with the Buccos. I hope he has a big second half. But, man, those guys, the power display at James Wood and Cal Raleigh and, all those guys, man, and O'Neal Cruz, who were some of the other – and then who were some of the other guys?
Well, Jazz was in it. He had a little tough time. But
Jazz had a tough time. Brent Rooker was raking, though, too. He was hitting some absolute bombs. I mean, it was really a fun. I thought it was a great home run derby. I think the way they do it's great. It's so entertaining.
Are you a fan of the kid climbing a wall and robbing a home run, or do you say clean it up, kids? Let's not go robbing homers. I say if I'm out there, I would have tried to do the exact same thing, and it was a great catch and good for him. And
I missed that. I missed that. What happened? I missed it.
Oh my God! One kid climbs the left wall and robbed the homer. They called it a homer. They reviewed it.
I was gonna say, did they not count it?
No, you gotta count it. But that kid is a legend, dude. Anyway, now go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, Jake and Andrew were out in there 2015, 16, and 17.
That was the last time I was taller than them, dude. I remember.
Dude, I remember guys hitting bullets out there. I'm like, guys, I told him, I said, listen. Fly balls catch, but if someone's going to catch it, you got to be watching because they're still hitting bullets. They got timer. And I go, and if it's a line drive, don't think, hey, I got it. No, you don't. It's going to hit you right in the coconut. And you're going to be, I'm not to go get you and put you in the ambulance. Run from liners, pop ups cover each other. I'm like you're in the foxholes in Vietnam.
Dude, that's the scariest thing, man. Anyway, and then the game happens. What a great game. First of all, Pete Alonso, keep having a great year, dude.
Pete, man. Get that 7-year deal, dude. What are we doing?
He is going to get paid if he
good for him, dude.
Yeah, good for him. And then what's your take? What did you think about the little mini derby and the tie ball?
I thought it was incredible, Chinch. I thought it was incredible. And you know it's incredible? Watch the players.
Yes, they were so excited.
They were so fired up. They're on the field. Dude, I'm sorry. It's like the shootout in hockey.
Yes.
It's just really cool. So I thought it was amazing. I think baseball did a great job. I was so glad it ended in a tie. It was just one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And for Schwarber to do his thing, dude, Schwarbs is the man. And, he got up there and crushed that one to center, then bombed to right center, then hit a bullet right on 3 pitches to win that thing, man. I just thought it was awesome. What'd you think, Chinch?
Oh, I thought it was great. Well, so it's funny. I go in now. I work in a place where there's a lot of opinion, and some guys were saying Judge and Ohtani, they weren't in that thing because the starters sometimes leave. And I was trying to explain is you got to understand this is the only break that you have during a baseball season. Can you explain that to people?
Well, dude, I was the guy that came in the 6th.
Right.
So I'm like, let's stay to the end of the game, dude. Like guys were gone. Griffey was on a jet plane. So was Larkin. Here's the deal, bro. It is such a long year, and when you get to the All-Star break, you just want those days so bad. So for those guys that are on the, that are the starters, they obviously, there's a big commitment there, but they come out after a couple of bats. A lot of these guys that are getting paid big money, they got a private jet waiting for them to get them home, to spend some days with their kids or their family for 2 or 3 days. That 2 or 3 days, Chinch, seems like 3 weeks. It rejuvenates you for the second half. So I do understand why they got out there. I was around it all the time. I don't think it's that big a deal. I think it's just they've earned the right. They're starters. They got money and they can move.
Yeah, and I'll take you behind the curtain even a little further. Do you think Aaron Judge was just sitting around for 2 days? No. Do you know the best players in the game, like Judge and Otani? They were probably up at 7:30 in the morning all the way through for 2 straight days before that. You saw Judge and Otani were on Pat McAfee at noon. On the Derby day. Listen, obviously understandable. Oh, you're the best. You get paid so much. You should be that. Listen, whatever. It's fine. I think it's just absolutely fine. And guess what? I thought it was really cool to see the Rays kid who deserved to be in the All-Star game, being in a big spot and being able to hit bombs like late.
Yeah, Jonathan Aranda.
I was rooting harder for him than anybody else in that Derby.
Kyle Stowers got a chance too.
Yeah.
Dude, I thought it was great. And dude,
It was great.
it was awesome. And at the end of the day, you're exactly right. Judge, Otani, those guys, there is so much asked of those guys, dude. Now, on All-Star weekend,
Forget it.
talk about getting pulled in a million different directions. Yeah. They're getting crushed. So, dude, those players that are there don't mind that Judge and those guys, weren't there for the end of the game.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway.
And tell you the truth, Judge and Otani and those guys, no doubt we're thinking, oh, I wish I was still there.
Oh,
That's a once-in-a-lifetime history thing. That's really cool. Yeah. They're definitely thinking that would have been cool to be there.
That was very cool. Yeah. Listen. All right. Well, that's that situation. We're back here, folks. We're still doing this show. We're doing these shows. We're organizing the times. I'm trying my best. Sean's always ready. He's always ready to go. But
Chid's got a big-time job, and we got to work around you now, Chid. We're going to figure this out. I love it.
I love it.
Tonight we're out there, and we're in Cincinnati and Cleveland, out there in Ohio, FanDuel. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. All right. The next show we're going to do is the preview show of the second half of the season. I have tons and tons of questions for you. Are you ready for that?
I can't wait, dude. I can't wait. Line up the questions because I'm ready to hit them all, dude. I'm so excited for the second half. And the great thing is, dude, I know for me, at times, if I had a bad first half, I couldn't wait for the second half to start. I was like, new season. And there was times I had a great first half. I'm like, oh, why am I scuffling so bad in the second half? You know what I mean? Because you're like, can't wait to be an all-star. You're there. All of a sudden, you come out the gates. And I think sometimes it's nice to have a little break. You know what I mean? A couple-day break. But you come out and you're like, oh, man, I got to get it going. So it's going to be interesting to see which teams come out the gates hot. Are the Red Sox, they're going into break winning 10 in a row. They're the only team that didn't want the all-star break. You win 10 in a row. You got that mojo going. They're flying. The Blue Jays, they're right up at the tops. The New York's two back. You've got the Reds right there. Milwaukee's right a game back of the Cubs. The Dodgers kind of scuffled into the break. Can San Diego and San Fran catch them? In the NL Central, are the Tigers going to have that great second half again and just, take off flying? Philadelphia and the Mets, bam, they're going back and forth and going toe-to-toe. So, it's just going to be a fun second half. There's so many different storylines, and it's just a lot of fun. And I think one of the teams that we talked about is a surprise team to us after losing Bregman and Tucker and Preston, those guys. The Astros still one of the. Can they keep going and be one of the best teams in the second half? So
yeah,
a lot of question marks. Can Seattle keep making the run?
Trade deadline coming up.
Trade deadline coming up, dude. You kidding me? There's so many people out there. The Buccos have a ton of guys. The Diamondbacks have a ton of guys. We'll break it all down on Friday.
There you go. All right, brother. I love you.
All right, man. Love you too, brother. Have a great time. Hey, everyone out there, we appreciate you listening. Subscribe, download. Doesn't cost you anything. We'll catch you tomorrow.